Resident Evil series has found itself in a bit of an identity crisis. Not sure whether to embrace the survival horror roots that so many fans love, or the action thriller route that has propelled the series to new heights. Resident Evil Revelations on the Nintendo 3DS attempts to balance both of those ideas, forcing players to make each bullet count in one moment, and then unleash hell in the next. It's a balance that works reasonably well, but one side of the equation is far more impressive than the other. Make no mistake about it, Resident Evil Revelations will be remembered as the 3DS title that proved what the system was capable of doing. We've seen some great graphics on the system, but Revelations is truly the best looking game to hit the system so far. From dark, crushingly eerie hallways, to vast clock rooms and vibrant casinos, the variety in this game is impressive to say the least. The sound design in the game is just as good, with its hauntingly appropriate music and effects that will leave you gripping your system in suspense. Slightly disappointing is the game's story. Though Resident Evil has always suffered from a bizarre and convoluted mythology, Revelations ultimately comes across as just plain stupid by its end, undermining what is overall a really great adventure. Lead characters Jill and Parker fare better than most of the game's cast, which ultimately comes across as a collection of oblivious, irritating fools, even by Resident Evil standards. For much of its dozen-hour length, Revelations is a true return to survival horror form. When placed on a derelict cruise ship full of grotesque creatures, this game is thrilling, serving up some of the best moments the franchise has seen in years. The Ooze, Revelations' replacement for zombies this time around, add a new layer of tension to combat, because they can emerge from any pipe or dark corner in any room. Throw in some great boss battles, and you have a location that in many ways rivals the mansion from the first game. In fact, that sort of begs the question, why would you ever leave the ship location? Unfortunately, Revelations often does to further its story, and the game eventually stutters because of it. Capcom chose to make the non-ship-based segments focus on different styles of gameplay, mostly more action-oriented sequences that load players up with ammo and set them loose on waves of creatures. Capcom has also continued to evolve its multiplayer concepts for the Resident Evil series. This time in the form of Raid Mode, a co-op concept that allows up to 2 players to fight through the forces of evil to reach a predetermined point. Full weapon customization and the ability to purchase new gear from a store help add to the depth. If you enjoy more action in your Resident Evil experience, Raid Mode just might hook you.
No, I can still fight.
That's the spirit.
It's over.
Resident Evil Revelations sets new visual and audio benchmarks for the Nintendo 3DS. This is truly one of the most atmospheric Resident Evil games to come along in a while, one that doesn't forget it wants to scare players. When set on its haunted cruise ship, Revelations comes to life, creating an incredible location that rivals some of the best in the franchise. A handful of bad moments, characters, and plot points don't stop this from being a great experience, and one of the most notable entries on the 3DS. For more on Resident Evil Revelations, head over to IGN.com.